good morning. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You know what, producer? I feel like we have a vacation. I feel like you and I are on vacation with no Drive Safe Dave here this morning.
You know, it feels really good to have a Thanksgiving miracle this time of year. And it's the time of year to be thankful for everything around you. And I'm thankful for some peace and quiet this morning.
You know what? It really was. But hey, I missed Drive Safe Dave. He was working late last night doing what Drive Safe Dave is. And if you know what that is, hey, email us at bcblive@bcblive.com because we really don't have a clue sometimes. Producer, here we go. We're coming upon Thanksgiving. It is the eve of Thanksgiving, and people are getting restless out there. And it's going to be a busy holiday. As we reported earlier, you know, almost, what is it? It's significantly more than last year. Traveling right now, we have, what is it? How many people? Millions of people traveling this year, like 4.2 million. I saw it on the front of the newspaper today. 4.2 million people traveling this year, up from just like 2 million last year. So nearly twice as many people out traveling.
Yeah, and it's crazy because even last year we thought that was a record number of people traveling. And we were reporting last year about how congested everything was and how crazy it's going to look in the airports. And now that people have been vaccinated or are more comfortable going out, it seems like we're going to see just a huge influx. And actually, I was trying to get plane tickets a couple months ago to go see my family down in Corpus around this time of year. And while it was relatively cheap back then, my roommate is trying to get tickets for a wedding coming up next, or I believe this weekend. And it's like $500 to fly to Alabama right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just domestically. We're not even talking about international flights. Forget about all that. $500 to go from Texas to Alabama, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, so a lot of people, the line's going to be a little bit longer this year. Listen, if ever there's a time to pack your patience, it's right now. And we see it in the news, right? We talked about it, I think, last week. 5,114 reports of unruly passengers this year compared to like 118 last year. The two biggest reasons, masks right here, right? Nobody likes them. It makes me angry. Mask, and you throw a little bit of gin and juice in there, it gets out of control. Mask and alcohol, the big reasons why they say we're having all the issues on the airlines right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned alcohol, but a lot of airlines have just stopped selling alcohol altogether, and take it from somebody who has been on a plane a couple times since all this started going down. They don't sell alcohol as loosely as they used to.
Yeah, and also you hear it announced on the intercom now that if you brought your own alcohol, that as well is illegal. You're not allowed to bring your own alcohol. So the BYOB, hey, that's not cool anymore either. You really have to watch it. And not only do you have to watch out for that alcohol and for the unruly passengers, producer, some of these folks on these planes, these, you know, the flight attendants, you know, the captain, you know what? You act not well, you act angry, you get out of control, they may put you in your place.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of airline passengers, or a lot of flight attendants right now are actually being trained to physically deal with unruly passengers if anything happens. So this is a real still of, I believe it was American Airlines or Southwest Airlines, having their flight attendants train in martial arts to fight back against some of these unruly passengers because people aren't wearing their masks, because people aren't doing whatever it is the airlines are asking them to. A lot of people have started to fight against these airline workers when really they're just doing their job. So now they're going to have to really do their job, put you in their place next time.
Be ready if you're one of those folks, because here it goes right here. Over 4,000 have came out of these classes, and it's a pure voluntary class, okay? They're not getting paid to take this class. So when they go volunteer for this, I think that they're a little bit more serious about it because it's their own time. They're tired of being yelled at, being snapped at, being punched in the head. All of that, they're coming back after us, and they go this right here. This lady says, I have no desire to use it, but I'd rather know how to use it than end up in the bad shape. So they're not playing around. They're being serious about that. Listen, pack your patience. You're going to get where you want to go. Just remember we are in COVID right now. We do have a lot of job vacancies right now, including, at the TSA, including the pilots. There's just shortages all over the place as we today have 4 million less workers than pre-pandemic. So just get used to it. Pack them patience. Producer, they're flying for a reason, though. They're wanting to get home. It's getting to get with family. We have flag football. We have the football games on TV, and we have Thanksgiving dinner. Producer, I'm going to put it up to you. I want to have a little draft pick between you and I on a little bit of Thanksgiving dinner.
All right. Let's roll it. Okay. So first of all, we got our first picks coming in here, and I know that these are typical picks, but you gotta do them in the first round. So we got turkey coming in hot at first, right? So this is gonna be my number one pick, I think, for my Thanksgiving draft here. You gotta have it. Any Thanksgiving dinner can't be done without it. How are you feeling here?
Oh man, you went first on me too. You grabbed the main staple, the turkey. All right, I'm gonna go a different route with you because for certain I can't go without my little. I can't go out without. I can't even think what it's called. My cake. It's.
We got a lot of cake. Are you a pumpkin pie guy?
The pound cake.
Oh, I don't have any pound cake. I'm good.
It's okay. Pound cake / pumpkin pie. I've got to go with because I'm gonna have my sweets at Thanksgiving.
I hear you on that. I'm more of a pumpkin pie guy though. I'm gonna go out on the limb. I'm gonna say pumpkin pie is okay. Right, but you get me a little bit of pumpkin or a little bit of apple pie, put some cinnamon on it. You have grandma come in and put it on the plate. It's unbelievable.
Tell me you got some ice cream with it. Is that pie high? You got a little homemade vanilla.
It's gotta have vanilla ice cream on the top of it, of course.
You can't beat that. All right, what about that macaroni and cheese?
Macaroni and cheese is a very popular one. I will say this about macaroni and cheese. There's a lot of carbs in Thanksgiving, and I always gotta choose a handful of them, right? So usually, I will pass up the mac and cheese only if there is also the option of stuffing or green bean casserole. So, but if not, I'm going in on that mac and cheese every single time. Every single time.
I like, you see where I'm going. I've gone straight for the dessert. I've got my carbs in place, and some say, hey, Sir Rick, what about the greens? And I'm going to say, there is no room for greens on my
Unless
plate.
We're talking about that green bean casserole. Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me.
My dessert is this, and it's such a good one. That sweet potato pie, that sweet potato casserole, that, my friend, there you go. Another starch is going to enter in Sir Rick's plate.
Okay, I hear you. And while we're on the subject of potatoes here, I gotta say I couldn't find a picture of the type of potatoes that are usually made in my family Thanksgiving, but I'm talking mashed potatoes right now. And it gets better whenever you crush up cornflakes and you put those on the top and they're cheesy. There is nothing quite like some mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna have to take that with a little bit of gravy over most of the other sides. I can't lie with you.
Brown gravy or white gravy?
Oh, I'm gonna say brown gravy for the meats, white gravy for the mashed potatoes.
All right, so here we go. One more pick, and this is, if I'm going back here, I've got to have me some ham too. Some people say ham for Christmas. No, ham for Thanksgiving as well.
And I agree. I think ham is a solid pick, and sometimes the ham is just a little bit better than whatever we get on the turkey, depending on who makes that ham and who makes that turkey. Because I've had my fair share of dry turkey. I don't know if you've seen, Christmas Vacation.
What is all over this ham? What are those things? Those screws? Are you trying to kill me, producer? Hey, Sir Rick, have another bite.
Come on, come to my family Thanksgiving. Come on. Hey, I'm bringing something special this year.
Hey, we hope you're going to have a great Thanksgiving. We're going to be right back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You know, I wanted to share with some of the articles today, and I was going through just trying to see which ones do we want. And I'm going to go right here, and we're using the Wall Street Journal from today if you want to go out and get one, because producer, it's talking about the new rules of Thanksgiving football. All right, and it starts out with rule number 1. You know, as we play the tag football, it's talking about you got to count right to 3 Mississippi. Well, they're giving you an alternative this year. You can count to 3 Dr. Fauci. 1 Dr. Fauci, 2 Dr. Fauci, 3 Dr. Fauci. Then you rush. Here's another one right here. It says, hey, if you don't feel well, please stay at home. If you don't run well, please play center or permanent blocker, giving us some ideas on what to do out there. Also, remember, it's important to take the family football photograph before the game while you're still alive. Another good one there.
Yeah,
and here's my favorite one right here. It says, if you're on the fence, right? If you're on the fence about playing football this year, it's either the family touch football game or sitting on the couch and watching the Bears play the Lions.
Which, by the way, wow. I cannot believe out of all the teams that could have come in to play on the Thanksgiving game, the Bears and the Lions.
It's going to. So, yeah, so go stretch out, bring your cleats, get ready to play a little touch football, have fun with the family. It is new again. It's exciting. A lot of us haven't been around family, you know, for Thanksgiving in 2 years now. So it is kind of neat. It's going to be fun. Remember to be safe out there as well. Stretch, wear your mask, stretch, wash your hands, do all of the above. And if grandma or your brother, your sister, they can't smell, they seem to be sweating before the game, that may be a temperature. Those may be signs for COVID. Stay away. Suggest they sit and go watch the game.
Yeah, make sure you're holding your plate up to everybody and being like, hey, do you smell how good this is? And go around, make sure everybody's good. If grandma's in the kitchen and she's sweating too much, you might need to take her out for some flag football.
Hey, producer, we talk about goal. We're going to get back into a little bit of safety here. We talk about goal, the streaks for you out there that watch BCB Lives, up to 75 days of getting out and look. What a phenomenal streak as we just continue to do our part. And producer, I wanted to talk about this because I think it's a great reminder, you know, that getting out and looking is important. That getting out and look, you really can save a life by not hitting somebody something. We have a report here in North Carolina, in Charlotte, a 45-year-old man. He's died after an 18-wheeler backed into him while he was underneath a trailer on Friday.
Yeah, and this was in the morning. So just to kind of further emphasize the point here, realistically, the driver was probably just starting his day. It was 8:40 in the morning whenever the officers got the call. They showed up and responded to the parking lot where this driver was parked to the fatality incident that happened. So it's just an emphasis on whenever you get up, maybe you're not in the right headspace. You know, you woke up a little bit fuzzy. Maybe you didn't get a lot of sleep that night. Maybe you didn't have a great shift or things are going on at home, and that's okay. But whenever we're talking about safety, whenever we're talking about lives that are at stake, especially in places like a parking lot where people are going to be walking around a lot, getting to their truck, going to their car, getting fuel, it's always important to get out and look, double check again, do that pre-trip. I know it's cold, but hey, get that morning coffee if you need to. Yeah, anything you got to do to prevent this kind of accident.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Sometimes that pre-trip, that post-trip, that getting out and looking, that can be also that moment you can kind of clear your mind, clear your head from things that are going on in your personal life. Listen, it's Thanksgiving, it's that holiday season, and although we talk about a lot of joy, a lot of celebrations, a lot of chaos too. For some of you, it's the first time you've been without that special someone this year. And I understand and I feel your pain and just know that, you know, you still have to kind of just step out, slow down that chaos a minute, right? Get your mind focused because what you do is just essential. This gentleman that backed into somebody, you know, the person was underneath the trailer. They were working on something. He drops the trailer, backs into his next trailer. It's just his next dispatch, right? I mean, why do I got to get out and look? I see my trailer, backs into it. There's somebody underneath the trailer working, kills a person. Nobody cited. He didn't go to jail or anything like that, but he still has to, producer, live with what happened. And they say it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional. I get all that, right? When is any of that intentional? That's why we want you to get out and look. Because when you get out and look, if you see something weird, if you see that person under the trailer, you don't back up. You don't complete that job at that moment. You check on things. It's like a pre-trip, post-trip, get out and look. And man, that's what it's for. It's made for you to see those things that you don't want to get yourself into. So my heart goes out to this family right here, and to each and every one of you for that job that you do out there. And yes, everything you do, no matter how tedious you may think it is, man, it saves life. What you do really does save a life, and what you don't do can take a life away. Producer, going into the glass bottle. So here we go. Glass bottle shortage going on right now across America, and it's been happening, right? That supply and demand. Supply, a lot of people want that Tito's, right? My favorite size bottle, 1.75. You can't go wrong with 1.75, but there is a shortage of glass.
Yeah, there is, and which is something that's surprising to me. I know that we have shortages on pretty much any kind of supply or really resources right now from what it seems like, but glass is something to me that seems easier to make, but right now we're just seeing so many things, again, stuck in containers that we continue to say over and over and over again. And a lot of these are domestic too, with about 60 or 70% of glass international are coming from China. Sorry. I know there are portions of them that are being made in the United States, but with 60 or 70% actually coming in from overseas, whether it be from China, there's actually some in Panama, as well as South America that come up into the United States, which I would think would come in from a different side of the port here. If I'm coming from South America, I feel like I would want to come into the Gulf as opposed to going into the California side, especially knowing how much congestion there is going on over there.
Yeah, and all that just blows me away anyway, the logistics or the non-logistics when it comes to ordering stuff from China or overseas. The fact that, I've said this before, the fact that you can order something from China and it goes to California, it then goes on a rail all the way to Dallas, it then goes on a truck from Dallas to Oklahoma City, it then has to get picked back up out of Oklahoma City. The empty trailer to bring it back to Dallas is cheaper than make it in the United States. It doesn't make sense. It makes plenty of sense. And that's the problem, right? We're paying, such small amounts of money overseas in China. And I do think, we are bringing things back, including glass. We're seeing some of that glass being brought back into the United States as well. Because I can tell you this, while we may go without the noodles, we may go without turkeys, we may go without, some of these clothing that we're working with, we ain't going out without alcohol. We must have our 1.7 bottles of tequila, whiskey, vodka. That, my friends, where we cut the line, and that's where we will change our habit on where we're ordering glass.
Yeah, and it's hard to deal with. I've been dealing with this pandemic with my fair share of glass beer bottles, and if I have to go without that, I guess I can sip from the can, but it's not the same. I don't want to have to go out and drink somewhere else and then come back. I don't want to be in a car. I just want to be able to grab a six-pack, come back home, not have to deal with it. But if we're seeing glass shortages, I guess more importantly, windows are a thing too. But I'm more concerned right now with the real problems.
No doubt. And you know what? And listen to this too, because some of the states, and when we talk about beer bottles and liquor and alcohol, well, some beer gets made in the state of Ohio, and they've just changed the weight restrictions, right? Normally call it 80,000 pounds limit. We've just changed that restriction in Ohio to 90,000 without a permit. You can now run up to 90,000 pounds, and that's cause for the, one way we're trying to reduce some of the wait times for the permits and I guess allow more freight to move on trucks and trailers. And listen, only one person's excited about that, and that's the shipper. I don't know any trucking companies or drivers, independent contractors that are like saying, yes, I can pull another 10,000 pounds, especially with fuel going up. Nobody's really excited about that. Speaking of fuel, producer, check this out. We talk about the cost of fuel, and what do we have? We had President Biden just release or going to release 50 million, right, barrels of oil. You know, as we continue to try to focus on the cost of this fuel within the United States. And here we have it right now. We look at the fuel prices today at $3.73 a gallon. This is diesel is what I'm talking about. $3.73. We look at the pandemic area back at $2.45, $2.40, and we can see right now, if we look at the 5-year level of fuel, we're as high as we've ever been right now on the DOE when it comes to the fuel prices. So here we are here at $3.73. You could see those rates continue to increase. Independent contract companies, you must focus on that fuel. Company drivers out there, you have to make sure you reduce your idle time. And listen, like most companies, I'm going to tell you this right here is that if it's 3 degrees outside, listen, we get you're going to run the truck. If it's 120, we're not saying, hey, roll the window down. When you sweat, you'll start cooling off. What we are saying is this, is two things. Is number one, for the kids down the road, I'm just going to say the right thing. We've got to reduce our carbon, right? We've got to do our carbon footprint. What better way to do it than to shut the truck off? And if you don't need, if you have an APU, utilize that APU. Do you realize the amount of fuel you save when using that APU? And at $3.73 a gallon, the independent contractor, your company that you're driving for, listen, we've got to save their money as well. That is also part of your responsibility. Use that APU, reduce that idle time, shut that truck down when you can. Fuel prices on diesel at an all-time high. Let's do our part. Hey, more coming up next with Buckle Up Bob as he joins us a little bit early to talk safety, weather, and other news across America on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Yes, you know what? You must be right. I think I have that 1.75 on my mind, with my mind and my money and my money and my mind. You know, I'm not trying to quote anybody here. Hey, buckle up, Bob. We talked about getting out and looking right before you came in. We talked about the death, you know, that can happen when we don't do that. And it's just so critical that I think that we continue to remind you out there, our listening audience, that everything you do from pre to post to getting out and looking, it's not only important to the safety while you're driving, but also it's there to help protect life even before you start driving.
It sure is. And unfortunately, I've had the unfortunate experience of calling a driver's wife that he was killed because he walked behind a trailer and it rolled back on him. He did not have the brakes set. And it's just one of those things where, folks, yes, you got to get out and look, but you just got to slow the chaos down, go through your checklist, make sure all the safety things are done. You know, the parking brake is on, that all the brakes are set when you're walking around, and then absolutely get out and look. You know, I've also seen where drivers had pulled away and a worker was up on the roof of the trailer working on lights and stuff and fell off and broke their back. And so they weren't killed, but their life was basically over as far as producing for their family. So it absolutely requires get out and look, you know. Bend down, and even when you pull away from a dock, bang on that door. Make sure that forklift operator's out of there. If they got dock releases, you know, it's mechanical, things can malfunction. Make sure you look underneath here and the dock release actually release the axle. You know, all that things that, or the bumper, all the things that you need to do to make sure that you protect life.
Yeah, all these things are important. We just want to continue to remind you to do more than you've ever thought was required, or even, you know what, buckle up. It really is. It's going back to the basics, because I do believe that when we're beginning driving, when we're beginning, you know, our trucking career, we follow the rules a little bit more, right? We're a little bit more cautious. We definitely do the pre-trip, post-trip, because we were taught to. Later on, we can develop some bad habits. But what we want you to do is to go back to those basics. Remember, we're after a culture change in our industry. Buckle up, Bob. I don't know if you saw that. Producer, you read the story here. A man in Germany, I want to get your thoughts on this. He doesn't want to be late for his test. He's going to get his driver's license. So he drives there because he doesn't want to be late, in which he's cited for driving without a driver's license. Buckle up, Bob. What's your opinion on that?
That's you know, the law is the law. We actually do that all the time, right? Not all the time with the CDL,
What?
but we. No, I don't.
Wait. Never mind. Edit.
I mean, I should give the solution first before I say we do it all the time. But we Uber a lot, right? Just because it's just unsafe and it's not the right thing. It's illegal, right? So there's other ways. You've got to, you know. And I've had some difficult conversations with drivers about, hey, I get what you're saying, but is there another way, right? If this really mattered, you would have found a different way to do this instead of not saying anything, you know, things of that nature. But yeah, we could have Ubered, or they could have Ubered or taxi, whatever the case may be nowadays to get that done.
Yeah, so they're investigating, number one, this guy for driving without a license. And number two, they're also doing an investigation on the owner of the vehicle for allowing that to happen. And what, you know, when I read this, it's kind of comical, it's kind of funny. But it also is a reminder of what we say is that, you know what, he drove there to get on time because he didn't want to be late for his appointment. Understanding that being on time, that's a priority. It's not a value. Values are what you do out there on the road. Those are the pre-trip, post-trip. That's the decisions you're making. Values are following when you realize you're following too close to get out of that. Those are values. When you've got to get there because they're going to close, it can create bad decisions. Buckle up, Bob. I'm going to say he didn't want to be late, and this created a bad decision for him.
It sure did. And great point about the value. You're 100% right. You know, we mistake priorities for values a lot of times, and priorities can be valuable.
Yes.
But they're not. They shouldn't be our values. Values never change or shouldn't change. You know, there are things that are ingrained in you that you just don't sacrifice. And priorities, they change with circumstances. And in this case, the driver put that ahead of everything else.
Yes, and we talk about this many times in the orientations that you go to with some of your companies. When we talk about those items, listen, when you're so focused on being on time, when that's your main thing, it just leaves the door open to speed, to following close. And that's what we're talking about is when you're so focused on, I've never been late before, I'm 100% on time. What I'm telling you is that we want you to be safe 100% of the time, that your value as a driver, as a professional driver, as somebody driving in this industry is your safety. That's what's truly valuable. You can't help being late.
No.
I mean, you just can't help it. If traffic's there's nothing you can do. If you overslept, there's nothing. Speeding's not the answer because you overslept, right?
Correct. Time can never be made up. We talk about that all the time. You know, once it's gone, it's gone. You got to go to plan B, and plan B still has safety first, right? And then what you need to do. And most of the drivers out there, you all are amazing professionals. And most of the time, if you're going to be late, it's not because of anything you did in most cases, right? And about the only one that does happen is if you do oversleep. But guess what? You're tired, you're exhausted. That's okay. Take that extra sleep and be safe. Protect that life so that you don't forget to get out and look. You don't get lazy and say, well, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep an extra minute and just put the truck in gear and go, you know, things of that nature that just leads to, and the companies are the same way. You know, it's like one of the things we have conversations all the time is like, there's a bad roadside inspection, right? The brakes are bad. Well, why is this driver still driving on his equipment? It has to be bad ordered or shop sent and get done immediately. I know some cases the DOT allows you 5, 10 days or whatever to get it repaired. But if it's a brake issue, right, you need to get that fixed right away. If it's a tire issue, because you're risking somebody's life now, and you're going to end up putting it on some other driver anyway.
Yes, sir. Make sure we do our part all the time. This is BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Buckle up, Bob. Coming up next with weather and road conditions.
But first, the phrase that pays. And this week's phrase that pays, of course, going with the holidays, is Thanksgiving is my seasoning for safety. One more time, that's Thanksgiving is my seasoning for safety.
Watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News
Down in Texas, we're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong.
weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday before Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving Eve, I guess you call it, before we get to stuff ourselves. And what's not stuffed is the highways in the DFW area. Look at all that green, folks. I mean, from what I heard on the radio, even the small little areas is just construction. They're picking up the construction stuff or laying it down. So, again, you can see in the DFW loop, I mean, everything. 820 over in Fort Worth, completely. Just a little spot there on 820. The 20 between the two, 30, 183, all look very good. The 635 loop around Dallas looks great as well. Just a little bit up here on 78 going out there at the interchange, but not bad at all. Dallas, before the Thanksgiving, folks, hey, really, this is the time you have to say to yourself, just remind yourself as you're going down the road, patience. I packed my patience. I packed my patience, right? Because it is a holiday season. We do not want anything to go wrong as you're hurrying to get home to make sure that you get home for Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. So please be safe. Kansas City, again, looks great. Kansas City seems to have almost more red than Dallas, which is unusual, but it's still nothing. It's just as great. All the loops look great in Kansas City. 70 looks clear. Both sides of the Metroplex. 35 coming in and out of the city looks great as well. So, again, if you're in the Kansas City area, smooth sailing. But, again, keep it that way. Help the others around you by keeping your speed managed and your space increased. Chicago looks great. You know, I guess everybody's already started or on their way out of town already, or they're using the airports instead of the highways. It looks great coming in from Indiana on 80 there from Gary and Hammond. You look very clean. The 355 loop looks, there's just nothing there. Even where we usually have the problem in Bolingbrook, nothing. Nothing down here in Minooka. Joliet looks good. 88 coming in North Aurora looks clear as well, and so does 90 coming up from the north above Elgin there. So, again, if you're in Chicago, again, it looks great on their Thanksgiving Eve commute this morning. Atlanta looks awesome. Folks, and believe it or not, this is awesome. There is hardly any red on the loop. You got just a little bit at Sandy Springs, which is usually all the way across, and then a little bit coming down here up 75 as you approach the Atlanta airport. I believe it's one of the busiest airports in the country, if not the busiest. A little bit of a slowdown coming in from the west on 20 to the loop. But, man, you've got a great commute this morning for Atlanta. Folks, keep it that way. Remember, you can help control that traffic. Philadelphia also looks great. Yeah, I think a lot of businesses closed on Wednesday because, I mean, it looks phenomenal again. Very little red, not even nothing up here by Conshohocken. Does that sound right, everybody? I'm sure our drivers out there, if you're listening, any driver can correct me on these cities. But the New Jersey side looks good. Just a real spotty stop and go traffic. A little bit here coming in along the river, from 295 from the north, but the turnpike looks very clear, as well as the 476 or 276 loop turnpike around. As we go to Nashville, ooh, some dark red. It's not as long, but we do have a backup coming in from the southeast, and it's really dark red, so I'm going to assume there's an accident there. So be careful if you're coming up near between Stone Ridge and Kimbrough up to Antioch. You could see some delays coming up from the southeast. The loop all looks great. You can see all the green, and even the merge point here at 6524, not as red as it normally is. So again, you shouldn't have too much of an issue coming into the Nashville area this morning. Oh wow, look at that! Baltimore looks phenomenal. I hope it looks this good at Christmas because we actually fly into that airport, and I've never been into that airport before. So down here at BWI, so again, looks great. Look at that, green all the way around the Baltimore area. 70 coming in, looks great. 695 loop around looks awesome. A little bit of a slowdown here, 95 coming up from the south into the Baltimore area. You got some traffic, and then here on 295 coming down into the DC area. Look at that. Wow, the DC area looks great as well. All the politicians must have went home for the holidays, right? Did they get anything accomplished, producer? No? All right. Hey, but great. If you're there, you've got some amazing commute this morning. Be careful. Just be patient, right? Pack your patience. Don't be the problem out there. Again, as typical, there is some traffic, not quite as bad up here in Silver Spring, Berwyn Heights, Bethesda on the 495 loop. But you're looking at the 10-minute kind of delays, not the 25 and 35-minute delays that you're normally accustomed to seeing. As we move on into the Indianapolis area, would expect the same. If the big cities look great, usually the little ones are, and this is no exception. 70 looks phenomenal. Coming through the downtown area, there is just nothing hardly at all, and the loop is 100% clear. I don't see any red at all that's going on there, and all the arteries coming into the loop look clear as well as you come into the Indianapolis area this morning. On our weather side, as we go into the weather, we're going to see some snow showers coming up. Where's our? There it is, and there you can kind of see them. What we got some moving in the Denver area, Wyoming. All this we kind of told you about. This is not a major storm. It is that 4 to 6 inch variety. And what I'm going to show you is the temperatures are supposed to warm up above freezing. You can see right now Denver is just a few degrees above. Salt Lake City's 27. But as we go through the day, you can see it gets up to freezing or a little bit above. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. These are going to be mainly trouble in the upper elevations where it might be a little cooler as you go through. Now, as we look at our current radar, there's just not a lot going on. You've seen them snow showers, but again, they're not even hitting the ground. You don't even see anything like that. It looks really clear for your start today. But as we go through the day, this evening around, they said late, I'm going to say around midnight. There it is. You can see the storms start to pop up around Oklahoma, along the Red River there, into Dallas, moving into Houston. Let's see when them actually start. There we go. We're looking about 11 p.m. Yeah. So right around that 10 to 11 p.m., you should start to see some rain showers in Oklahoma, moving into Dallas. You can see a little bit in St. Louis, Kansas City. No major rainfall. Denver's got a few little flurries. And then as we go for our Turkey Day, at 10 a.m., you can see the rain in Houston. You're going to have a wet, soggy Thanksgiving, it looks like, and it stretches all the way up into Detroit. So you've got a line of potential rain all the way from Houston up to Detroit and everywhere in between, Kentucky, Columbus, all that Ohio Valley. Our winds, a little bit of snow in southern New Mexico. Our winds are going to kick up for Thanksgiving, but you're going to be in that low 30s. And for today, We're going to see them also in the mid-20s. A little bit of spots. There's Dallas. You might see some 38 gusts. Again, just a reminder, 10 to 15 miles, slow it down, increase your space. And if it gets too windy, get off the road, right? We don't want anybody rolled over here the day before Thanksgiving. So we got a little bit of wind right through the heart of the country. Should not be anything too catastrophic. You just got to slow down. You have to understand what the wind can do to you, especially in these curves. Make sure that you're slowing down so you don't get a gust at the wrong time. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with a little bit of safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Buckle up, Bob. We left you out on our draft day for Thanksgiving. So go ahead and give it to us, Buckle up, Bob. What is that go-to dinner? You got 4 items to choose from. What's number 1?
Number 1, lumpy mashed potatoes.
Oh, and you
Fresh
know what?
potatoes.
I forget. This is the picky eater right
Yes,
here, too.
and I like the lumps. I don't want it all smooth and creamy. Just give me some of them lumpy mashed potatoes.
Number 2?
Green beans with bacon.
Green beans with bacon.
It's about the only
else,
vegetable
right?
that I like is green beans.
None of the string things on top of the
No, don't ruin it.
Texture. Number 3?
Pumpkin pie.
Oh, yes. Nothing wrong with it. What about the whipped cream?
More pumpkin pie with whipped cream. I like a little pie with my whipped cream.
Yes, I'm the same way. You got to have like a gobful, and,
Oh, yeah.
and not the spray kind of either.
No.
You got to get that whipped cream that you dish out and you put it on. It's just a little.
I got to smear it all
fluffier.
around the crust. I don't want to eat that crust without whipped cream.
All right, number 4. You got one more item. Make it a good one.
Number 4, has to be biscuits.
Oh, we didn't even have any bread items.
Uh-uh.
All that stuff. Yeah, you know what? We went with the traditional stuffing.
Yeah, I've never
Any
loved
stuffing?
No, never have
stuffing
liked
on
stuffing.
buffalo. No.
I don't like soggy bread. I don't understand that. Eating soggy bread. Don't
What
put
about
anything
with butter?
inside that
Butter
bread.
sogs it up a little bit. Hey, Buckle Up Bob, what do we have today? It's a big day, right? As we start going into a lot of travel on these roads, we got to remind you out there that definitely today pack your patience on that highway because there's going to be a lot of traveling going on.
Yes, there is. And again, you know, we've been talking about deer, and I know of 2 families that will be having deer for Thanksgiving instead of turkey, just in my family. So, again, we've been talking about these deer. And you heard Drive Safe Dave say it, and it's right. Don't ever swerve when you got the deer. You have to, it's just like an accident, right? When you see somebody coming head on to you, you've got to get the speed out of the equation as much as you can. And that's the same thing with a deer. Avoid swerving, because what you're doing is you're putting precious life at risk by swerving, including your own, right? You're liable to hit a pole, over guardrails, right? Trees, or at the very worst, most of these times when you get off of the road, it's angled, it's a slope, and you're going to roll it over. And so everything is just more dangerous for you trying to miss these animals. You just got to be aware of them. Get the speed out of the equation as best as you can. And that way you won't kill Bambi and have to eat deer for Thanksgiving. But we do have some videos also. And again, night driving, just watch, what the car does, and then does the brake check. And then don't do that. You see the brights, right? That doesn't help. Yeah. If you're not helping the situation, drivers, remember, there's idiots out there. You all know it. What's dumber, right? Doing the same thing over, and do you really expect that you're going to change that driver's behavior? You're not.
Yeah, you're not going to, and that's what we don't want to see right now. Remember, it's chaos. There's a lot of things going on. This world isn't, you never know what that person's going to do as well. You can't do that. I mean, we don't know what this person has. We don't know, is he going to pull over and pull out a gun? None of it's worth it. Okay, it's not worth your life. It's not worth the life of others. Just recognize that they aren't professionals like you. Recognize that they don't have that CDL like you do, and back off and give them space.
Yeah. If you really want to do something that may be helpful, call 911 and give them the license plate number. Say, hey, you got this car out here cutting people off and brake checking big rigs, and it's dangerous, right? Just report it, but don't get involved. Don't try to, when I say don't get involved, don't take matters into your own hands. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Here again, we got some traffic. Great job at slowing down. And yes, when we slow and create space, people are going to take it. That's okay. If you slow it down, look at this driver does. Great job. And look how close they came to that traffic. Remember, when traffic stopped in that lane next to you, you still got to slow down because the 1 and 5 are going to jump out.
Yes, sir.
And you see it happen.
Yeah, you do see it. And when you see the following distance right now, before the car comes and takes that space away, that's the spacing that you want. That's 4 to 5 seconds of spacing right in there. That's what you're looking for, to give you a visual of what does that look like. Well, here's an example of what it looks like. Yes, people are going to take it away from you, and you've got to continue to back off and give them that space. Phenomenal job right here of driving.
Yeah, and we always talk about don't wait to hit the brakes. That driver hit the brakes right away when that signal came on. I love that. Here again, we got a merge point, right? Patience, the lane's ending. Great job again.
Great.
Folks, this holiday season, that's what it's all about. Great. You are telling everybody out there that not all truck drivers and carriers are bad. Look at the courtesy here. I guarantee you this driver is going to say something to their family, or if they've got occupants in the car, said,
you know what, the fact is they get to say something because we did our part. We didn't close them in. And sometimes we just think that they're idiots or they're bad. You know what? Maybe they're just inexperienced. Maybe they're elderly. And maybe they shouldn't be on the road, but they are. We've got to take all that in consideration and just give them space, increase your patience, increase your space, decrease that speed, and do the right thing. Another phenomenal video right here. It's really what we like to see.
Hey, intersections are dangerous coming up to the light, right? So just remind yourself that, hey, these intersections, great job being able to stop. Maybe you need to be predictable, but hey, the bottom line is we stop. Great, and then look, boom. Now look at that car sitting on the right. What if that car sees it green and jumps? Now the good news is, and we always say get in the right lane, but I think in this case, situational awareness, this driver is great in the left lane because there is nothing coming from the left. So the vision is clear for that car on the right to see that one not slowing down. Wow. Where if they would have been switched, that would have been not a good situation.
Well, what a scary thing to see right here.
Yes.
And again, things that we can do, and we can't help what this person just did right here, but we want to make sure, again, we're getting to those intersections. We are preparing ourselves, our minds, for the action that needs to take place, and that's getting ready for that light to turn. We did this right here. We could have done a little quicker, but at the end of the day, we did our part.
Yes.
We didn't go to the intersection. We didn't take a chance on life. You know what? Yes, the car next to us just went right through it. Could have been a bad accident in there. We did our part, and that's what we want to continue to do.
And not all hard brakes are bad.
Nope.
That was a great job. Again, we've got a lot of stale green lights, folks. We've seen that, and we're doing a much better job. But again, it's yellow. That doesn't mean speed up. We have to be prepared to stop. We just saw somebody else run a red light. So again, you have to be prepared for that. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, that we have on us that van that ran the red light didn't have is the 53-foot trailer.
Yes.
And we've got to remember that. We still have 53 foot behind us, 80, all that distance behind us that's still going through that intersection. And listen, we are in that much more of we've got to be that much more careful because the cars go through it. We still have, 3 or 4 cars in general behind us.
Yeah, and one of the things that I started putting when I think about the drivers and how to talk to them, one of the hard things that I kind of just started realizing. I think I knew it, but I never. We stay in our cars, right? So we drive one way all the time. They go from truck to their vehicles to truck to vehicles and have to be able to turn that switch off because it is a little different. You have to think about a few more things when you're driving that big rig. And like Sir Rick said, you've got a 53-foot trailer pulling behind you that you don't have in your personal
Producer,
vehicle.
before you switch this video, so I saw early in this video, it says like the best chicken right there on the right. Is there any, does the best chicken really say the best chicken? Or is that just kind of like, every time I see that, the best Mexican food, I'm like, you know what? It's probably not if they have to say it themselves.
Well, this is the best insurance, so that makes it a little bit worse.
Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. Saying the best is like saying it's 10%. It depends the best of what, right? What is your best chicken? I tell you what, I didn't have it until I came to Texas. That Babe's chicken is
Babe's is
phenomenal.
Babe's is good.
And again, folks, just because yellow, doesn't mean you can roll through and take a right-hand turn because you're turning and not going through. You still have to come to a complete stop, right? You're making a turn. Let's make sure it's yellow. Make sure somebody's not going to do something silly. And then again, you got to remember too, when you make that was a pretty sharp turn that you had to make, and you had to be in the other lane on the road coming from the right. So you got to make sure that's all clear versus getting here and then having to slam on the brakes because something that you didn't see. So just remember, be patient at these lights. Slow it down, right? And you're going to get there just fine. Doesn't look that busy. And then again, man, no patience. Intersections are dangerous. Again, great job by this car, actually, right? The intersection's blocked, and they're just going to sit there. Great, phenomenal. And we've seen in some videos where drivers would ride up on this car in front. Great job by this driver. Just, you can still see the road. Yes, traffic in the left's going, but whatever's happening in the right lane isn't moving. And so you just got to pack your patience. And it made me sitting through another light change. But great job. I mean, we had some really good videos there where we're doing some really great things. And that's a great lead up to the Thanksgiving holiday as well.
Yes, for certain. If you have any questions out there you want to raise, you want to participate, you want to give us your go-to meal, listen, we have a few minutes to go. Or if you want to talk safety with Buckle Up Bob in some of these videos, hey, participate, raise your hand, type that question. And producer, who do we have?
Yeah, we got Gerald Koenig. What do you got for us, sir?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Gerald.
Hey, Rick and Bob, I just want to wish y'all happy Thanksgiving. And again, Rick, just tell you that along with all the other guys, and girls we have here, that I really appreciate everything that you and Brian and the whole team does. I mean, just I'm very happy and, just blessed to be here. And again, thank you, and y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
Well, we do appreciate that, and I'll just tell you, the blessing really is what y'all do out there for us and for this country, for this company, and for this city each and every day, protecting life the way you do, representing not only our industry, but that name that's on that truck, and for that city that we're out of as well, and for protecting life. Hey, God bless each and every one of you.
Yes.
You are truly a blessing. Producer, who do we have?
Yeah, we got Cowboy and Jeff Marsh. So what you guys got for us?
Cowboy, take me away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, I'm just going to keep it simple. Happy birthday, all. See, I ain't much going to keep it simple. Happy Thanksgiving, all you turkeys. Y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Appreciate that.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Cowboy.
that. The Goblin. There we go.
Bye.
Thank you, Leroy. And Jeffrey Marsh.
We wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to my BCB family. And one thing is I thought y'all were from the South. Where's the pecan pie? Come on, guys. Give me a
Let me
pecan
tell you,
pie.
Miss Kendra loves her some pecan pie. I can't do, I'm not texture doesn't really bother me, but whatever that crap is on pecan pie, I'm out on. I'll eat the pecans and I'll eat the crust. That's it. I want no part of that other stuff.
No. My wife loves
What is
pecan
it, jelly?
pie too.
What is it anyway?
I don't want to find out.
It doesn't even know. I'm out
Real
on
cranberries or canned cranberries?
that. You know what?
None of the above.
Either.
Oh, I love canned cranberries.
Yeah,
Really, a
either.
picky eater. I love canned cranberries.
Either. Anybody else, producer?
We do have a couple comments in terms of what people are eating. So
Here we go.
Mike Campbell threw in air fried turkey, of course.
Love air fried turkey.
Pecan
Never had
pie.
it.
Barbecue brisket has been a common one with Tommy Jones as well. We got green bean casserole from Connie Tuttle and syrup from Kelvin Brown. Syrup is an interesting one.
Syrup.
Syrup.
Yep.
Just in general?
Syrup.
Maple syrup?
Syrup.
I like syrup. I
All
do
right,
like
Goes
it.
good on them biscuits. I like.
Yep. There's a cough syrup. I wonder. Not quite the same thing.
Oh, syrup in the pie, says Kelvin Brown. All right.
Oh,
Gotcha.
in your
And then we
pie.
also got Bob Briggs on the line. What do you got for us today, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Briggs.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and God bless. Safe travels.
We do
Amen.
appreciate it. And for everybody, just so you know, BCB Live will be on tomorrow morning
Yes.
again at 7:30, the same time, or 7 o'clock, somewhere between 7 and 7:30. You know, when the producer's not here, it takes us others a little longer to get it figured out. We usually try to get it going at 7, and it takes us till 7:20, either with a phone call or him getting cursed at many, many times. I'm sure that won't change tomorrow. Until then, I'm going to close this out with a prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everything. We thank you and thank you and thank you for all the many blessings that you've given us. Man, I don't know if we tell you enough, but thank you for these drivers that are just the purest folks out here in that we know. Lord, continue to give us patience. Continue to give us that courage to change, our habits and to make them just a little bit better. Help us to have that ability to recognize what we need to work on it, and then give us the courage, obviously, to follow up on it and make the changes required in all that we do, not just our driving habits, but myself, for this company, for all of us out there driving, to have that courage and that ability to actually make the change. We thank you so much for everything. Continue to bless this company. Give us the wisdom. Give us all the wisdom to make the best decisions. In your son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody,
Amen.
We'll see you this afternoon. Have a great Thanksgiving. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. You know what? We're gonna have it early, so maybe we'll have turkey for breakfast. I don't know, but I'm down for it. Just no pecan pie on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.